Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Seko Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Gadadara Shri Vasudi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gogopinath Shyamakun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki. Vrindavan Dham Ki. Navadvip Dham Ki. Jamuna Mai Ki. Ganga Mai Ki. Tulsi Maharani Ki. Bhakti Devi Ki. Samved Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 2, Text 21. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tato Jigvesho Bhagavan Agni Swayam Abhut Sutaha Kanina Iti Vikakyat, how do you say that one? Vikyato Jatukarnyo Maha Rishi Tato Jigveshu Bhagavan Agni Swayam Abhutsuta Kanina iti Vikyato Jatukarnyo Mahan Rishi Tato Jigveshu Bhagavan Agni Swayam Abhutstuta Kanina iti Vikyato Jatu Karnyo Mahan Rishi Tato Jaishi Bhagavan Iswayam Abhutsutaha Kanina iti Vikyato Jatukarnyo Mahan Rishi. Tato Jigreshu Bhagavan Niswayama Bhusata Kanina Iti Vikyakto Jatukarnyo Mahan Rishi Tato Jigreshu Bhagavan Agni Swayama Bhusata Kanina iti viyakto Jatukarnya Mahan Rishi Tataha from Devadatta Agniveshaha, a son named Agnivesha. Bhagavan, the most powerful. Agni, the fire god. Swayam, personally. Abhut, became. Sutaha, the son. Kaninaha, kanina. Iti, thus. Vikyataha, was celebrated. Jatukarnyaha, Jatukarnya. Mahan Rishi, the great saintly person. Translation. From Devadatta came a son named Agnivesha, who was the fire god Agni himself. This son, who was a celebrated saint, was well known as Kanina and Jatukarnya. Purport. Agnivesha was also known as Kanina and Jatukarnya. I'll read the next two texts to go to the next purport. Text 22. Tato Brahma Kulam Jatam Agnivesha Yan Nripa Nirishyanta Navaya Prokto Dvishta Vamsa Ata Shrinu. Translation. O king, from Agnivesha came a Brahminical dynasty known as Agniveshyayana. Now that I have described the descendants of Narishyanta, let me describe the descendants of Drishta. Please hear from me. Text 23 and 24. Nabago Drishta Putronya Karmana Vaishyatam Gataha Balandana Sutastasya Vatsa Pritir Balandanat Vatsa Prite Suta Pramsus Tat Sutam Pramatam Vidu Kanitra Prametes Tasmat Chakshusho Taha Vivim Sati. Translation. Drishta had a son by the name Nabaga. This Nabaga, who was different from the Nabaga described later, became a Vaishya by occupational duty. The son of Nabaga was known as Balandana. The son of Balandana was Vatsapriti, and his son was Pramshu. Pramshu's son was Pramati. Pramati's son was Kanitra. Kanitra's son was Chakshusha, and his son was Vivimsati. Purport. From Manu, one son became a Kshatriya, another a Brahmana, and another a Vaishya. This confirms the statement by Narada Muni, Yashya Yalakshana Proktam Pumso Varna Bivanjankam. Bhagavat 7:11-35. One should always remember that a Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya should never be regarded as members of a caste by birth. A Brahmana may be changed into a Kshatriya, and a Kshatriya into a Brahmana. Similarly, a Brahmana or Kshatriya may be changed into a Vaishya, and a Vaishya into a Brahmana or Kshatriya. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Chaturvarnya maya shrishtam guna karma vibhagasya. So one is a Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya, never by birth, but by quality. There is a great need of Brahmanas. Therefore, in the Krishna Conscious movement, we are trying to train some Brahmanas to guide human society. Because at present there is a scarcity of Brahmanas. The brain of human society is lost. Because practically everyone is a Sudra. No one at present moment can guide the members of society to the proper path by which to achieve perfection in life. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So before I speak on the explanation given by Prabhupada to this purport, I'd first like to ask the blessings for the Maharaj to be able to say something, and from all the devotees. That you may kindly bless me to speak something that will be pleasing and appropriate for this verse. So it's very interesting to note here the directive given by Srila Prabhupada in commenting upon the verse here. In the very end of the paragraph of the purport here, again Prabhupada explains that there is a great need of Brahmanas. Therefore, in the Krishna Conscious movement, we are trying to train some Brahmanas to guide human society. Because at present there's a scarcity of Brahmanas. The brain of human society is lost because practically everyone is a Shudra. No one at the present moment can guide the members of society to the proper path by which to achieve perfection in life. So the very, very last 3 words here of this sentence is very important. That is, human life is meant to achieve perfection. And we go back to the very beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the question that was placed by the sages 5,000 years ago in Nimai Sharanya to Sutta Goswami as to how in this particular time, when we have a lot of obstacles in front of us, how do we become perfect? Basically, in a nutshell, the obstacles is that our lives are very short. We're full of misfortune. We're extremely unlucky. And at every moment, every day, we're always disturbed. And in this situation with these qualities in life, how can we achieve perfection? So Sutta Goswami, he explains, he actually answers the sages that this is a very, very wonderful form of inquiry. And before he actually answers the question, he offers his obeisances to Shukadeva Goswami. And it's very interesting and important and instructive to note that he's offering obeisances to Shukadeva Goswami and explaining who is Shukadeva Goswami. Now, before in the purport here, Prabhupada is explaining that to us. From this verse, we can understand that to become a Brahmin is not really based upon the particular womb that you take birth in. Because a Brahmin, one who is a Brahmin, means one who knows Brahman, or the absolute truth. And Shukadeva Goswami, when he was born, he lived in the womb of his mother for many years. And then after coming out of the womb of his mother, he began to leave his family. He walked away from his mother and father without undergoing any type of purificatory rites. Yet Suta Goswami here is offering obeisances to Shukadeva Goswami, who himself never became a Brahmin. As a matter of fact, actually, Shukadeva Goswami's father, Vyasadeva, Dvaipayana Vyasa, Krishna Vyasadeva, he himself, the compiler of all the Vedas that explains to us the four orders of life, himself was born from the womb of a fisher lady. But he knew the perfection of life, which was the glorification of Lord Vishnu. So, Suta Goswami, he explains that Shukadeva Goswami, because of his great compassion for those who are grossly affected and are struggling in the darkest regions of material existence, he described the cream of information by which humans can become perfect. So this is our goal in life, actually, to become perfect. Not to become Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas. These are simply the designations which bring order in life. And of course, the Brahmins are the most important because they're considered to be the head. But in this age of Kali Yuga, even though people who are born in the womb of Brahmins, they are not actually qualified to become Brahmins. Why? Because they are not born into a situation of perfection. In Kali Yuga, everyone practically is Shudra. And in this particular age, the Brahmins of this particular age try to carry on the hereditary priesthood to maintain the particular status of their womb, of their birth womb. But we see that constantly throughout the ages, the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the devotees continually come to teach us the science of the absolute truth, which is not based upon one's birth. And not only here in India, throughout the whole world, this has been the movement of God, to lead the living entity back home, back to Godhead. And we see all over the planet that many saints, many sages, many avatars and gurus, their mission has been to fight against the priestly caste. Because the priestly caste are attached to their status. This status actually helps them to maintain their material life and to progress their family heredity. Even we see back in the Middle East that the whole mission of Lord Jesus Christ, his mission was actually against the priestly caste. And actually, if you look very deeply into the the life of Jesus, we see that his mission was stopped and thwarted by the priests, who were the leaders and maintainers of the temple. They were called the Pharisees and the Sadducees. It was only due to them that he was crucified and tortured on the cross. Similarly, even we see that the Yavana religion, the Prophet Muhammad, he actually was preaching against the priest in the holy city of Mecca, who were very much attached to the worship at the Kaaba there. So Muhammad, he came to try and establish the actual teaching of the one God, Allah. But there was an objection to his endeavors. So the war had to take place between the Prophet Muhammad and the priestly caste of the tribes of Mecca. Similarly, even 500 years ago, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we see he was spreading the Harinam Sankirtan. And who were those that actually objected initially to the Sankirtan movement? There was actually the rulers didn't object, but who objected to the spreading of Sankirtan? It was the priestly caste. They went to the Qazi, and they objected that this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's teaching a new religion which is not Hinduism, that he has everybody simply singing and dancing and praising the Lord in this way, but this is not the dharma of the Hindu religion. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then he had to defend the Yuga Dharma, the Harinam Sankirtan. Because this Harinam Sankirtan is the religion for this particular age. And when one takes to the Harinam Sankirtan, then one is considered to be even beyond Brahmin, Vaishya, Kshatriya, and Sudra. And so we have to understand the actual value of this Harinam Sankirtan. The Brahmins are very much addicted and attached to the rituals that go on in the temple. But actually the temple worship that we see and that we practice, this is the leftover remnants of the process from Dwapara Yuga. It is not the process for Kali Yuga. We gain guidance and we gain inspiration from the temple worship. But the temple worship is actually meant for the neophyte devotee that follows the particular structure from Dwapara Yuga. But the deity has descended out of the temple, out of the temple, and taken the form of the holy name. We can see that the deity in the temple, the form of the Lord in the temple, is stationed in one place. But the Lord manifested himself as his holy name is going everywhere, all over the universe. So actually the holy name is the way to worship the Lord in this particular age. Yet we must understand that this Harinam Sankirtan is the process of the worship. It is the yajna. So when we take the Sankirtan, we must see it as the yajna. It is not simply an ordinary religious practice, a process, but it is non-different from the deity himself. The holy name actually is more potent and more powerful than the deity for us in this age of Kali Yuga. And it is the method and only way by which we can achieve perfection. Without the holy name, then we are thinking that the material activities, the activities of this world, are meant for our particular sense gratification. And we're thinking that the worship of the Lord is meant for sense gratification. But through the blessings of the holy name, we come to understand that the worship of the Lord is not meant for sense gratification. And we come to understand that the worship of the deity is not meant for sense gratification. but it is meant for the Lord's glory. So as we begin to say the holy name and chant the holy name and hear the holy name, we then begin to realize the presence of the Lord himself directly in front of us in the yajna. So as we chant the holy name of the Lord, as we hear the holy name of the Lord, it is very, very important to be very mindful that this holy name of the Lord is directly Krishna himself, taking the form in our presence as a manifestation of the sound vibration. So, to the degree that we worship the deity with great opulence, with great veneration and devotion, to that same degree we worship the holy name. To the same degree that we offer the deity, the beautiful sweet-smelling argabati, and the glowing light, and the wonderful garments, and sweet scents, and wonderful fruits and flowers, we're also offering these same ingredients to the holy name. Not in our just imagination, a made-up mind, but factually, actually in our process of worship. We actually worship the holy name in the same form, in the same fashion. And we must begin to see by this process of worship that the holy name is Lord Narayan himself, coming in the midst of the yajna, of the chanting process. The mouth can be seen just like a tongue. The tongue of the mouth can be seen just like the fire. And with the tongue we light the fire, and the holy name is present in the yajna. But this yajna is the deity himself. And with the deity is Mother Lakshmi with Lord Narayan. There's the Shankha, the Gada, the Padma, and the Chakra. They're all present. All the Devatas are present right there with the holy name. Lord Indra is present. Lord Brahma is present. Lord Shiva is present. Chandra is present. Varuna is present. Yamaraj is present. Chitragupta is present. All the Devatas are present. All the saints and sages are present right there with the holy name. All the rishis, all the Vedas are present right there with the holy name. So when we chant the holy name, we're creating the yajna and inviting all the host of heavens, all the Devatas to come and to witness this yajna. And all the paraphernalia and all the Lord's associates, they are present right there with us as we sing the holy name. This we should keep in mind as we chant the holy name. And then we can chant the holy name with complete attention and complete dedication. And as we do so, then the Lord will manifest his glories even more and more to us. In the first stage, it might be somewhat difficult because we're chanting with offenses. So this is called nama chanting. We're all in darkness immediately in the beginning. But the chanting is just like a light. We strike the light. And you're in a dark cave. You don't see much, but you can see the light. But mostly you see darkness. So similarly, at the beginning we chant. And there's a little light that flickers here and there, but we're surrounded by darkness. But as we go on towards the entrance of the cave, the light at the end of the cave becomes very, very bright. And we start to see there's something, little images, but we're not fully in the light yet. This is Namabash, where we start to then move towards the light of pure chanting. But we still have some darkness there. Then eventually we come to the opening of the cave, and there we're in the pure, complete sunlight, the bright light of the holy name. And in this bright light, we see the full Vaikuntha. We see the Lord Himself and His holy Dham. We see the Jamuna River. We see the Lord Madhava standing with Mother Lakshmi, Srimati Radharani. We see all the gopis dancing with Lord Krishna along the bank of the Yamuna River. And we see the Lord Krishna with Mother Yashoda and all the inhabitants of Vrindavan in the full light of the holy name. But initially first we must get through the darkness, which means that we must just steadily follow the path that leads us from the darkness to the light. That path, that's the footsteps of the spiritual master. In the darkness we have a little tiny light we can't see, but we have the footsteps of the spiritual master leading us to the entrance of the cave of the full sunlight. So it's very important to always stay behind the feet of the spiritual master and to walk carefully in the footsteps of the spiritual master. We should not try to move ahead of the spiritual master, nor should we try to move too close on the side of the spiritual master. We should walk directly behind in the footsteps of the spiritual master, because those footsteps have chalked out the path that leads us out of the darkness. It's just like there's an example of previously when there was a war between the communists and democracy in the Far East, in Cambodia and places like Laos and Thailand. The communists, they buried many bombs in the ground. And those who knew where the bombs were planted could walk through the minefield safely from one village to another village. But the people who did not know where the bombs were situated or did not follow the proper path would get their legs blown up because they would step on the mine. So similarly, the spiritual master knows the path that leads safely through the bombs of material life. And by following carefully in those footsteps, then we walk safely. But as soon as we step out of that footpath, then boom, our bodies can be blown to bits, our minds can be blown apart, our intelligence is blown apart. But by following the footsteps, then we walk safely. Those footsteps leads us to Krishna's desire. We're all in the material world because of our desire. And we all think that our desires are very important. But actually, Krishna's desires are more important than our desires. Krishna's desire is bigger than our desire. Yet we can't see how big Krishna's desire is for us, because due to our ego, in this, which is directed towards this world, we're projecting our desires on ourselves. And we think that our desires are very important, not only in ourselves, but we're projecting our desires on Krishna. So we come to the temple and we ask Krishna to fulfill our desires. Yet when we come to the realization that Krishna's desire is much more bigger and more wonderful than our desire, then we will develop the will and the intelligence to ask Krishna to let us fulfill his desire. And then when Krishna's desire starts to take over our soul, we actually become very happy and very contented. When we ask Krishna to fulfill our desires, even though Krishna might fulfill our desires, our soul does not become peaceful. our soul does not become happy or contented. But when we ask Krishna to let us somehow or another become an instrument to fulfill his desire, then Krishna does as such. And as a result of that, our soul becomes very, 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 very happy. Krishna is the Lord of happiness. Therefore, he's called Sukhada. One of his names is Sukhada. He is the Lord of happiness. And he's Priya. He's very, very dear to us. And he's within our hearts. So he knows our topmost interest. So knowing our topmost interest, Krishna can fulfill our desires in such a way that it puts us completely in contact with his ultimate interest. And then when we're in contact with Krishna's ultimate interest, we become very, 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 very happy. We experience Krishna as Sukhada. Krishna is always smiling, happy like a flower. And when we associate with Krishna, then we get this happy flower-like face too. And this is the first symptom of being a Brahmin, is that the Brahmin means happiness. This is the symptom of Sattva Gun. See? Because it is the condition of Sattva happiness, which is the basic platform of entering into the spiritual world. See? So therefore, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that the symptom of Sattva Gun is that of happiness. See? The symptom of the Rajagun is that there's always some desire, always hankering, constantly the mind is always worrying, all the time hankering. And the symptom of the Tamagun is that the mind is always distressed, morose, and unhappy. The symptom of the Sattva Gun is that of happiness. So by coming to the level of Sattva Gun, this is the Brahmin platform. Okay? And at this platform is the goal of the Krishna conscious movement of teaching all the people in the world how to come to this level, at least not as many as possible, how to come to this level of the Sattva Gun. Because it is from this Sattva Gun that we enter into perfection. So, if a person is claiming to be a Brahmin, yet they don't have the happiness of the Sattva Gun, then we know that that is the first symptom that they're not actually a true Brahmin. Whereas a person may not have been born in a Brahmin family, but because he's practicing Krishna consciousness, immediately he's in the level of Sattva Gun, so automatically he's very, very happy. So practically, everyone who lives in a Hare Krishna temple should be very, very happy. This is the symptom of a devotee, is that they're happy. Because they're always with the Supreme Happy, Krishna. And it is this happiness which is one of the selling points of Krishna consciousness. Because those who are not in Krishna conscious are always unhappy. They're always morose. They're always confused by Kali Yuga. Because again, of the symptoms of Kali Yuga is that everybody is constantly, at every moment, always disturbed. It doesn't matter what your situation is, the material world is such that it is meant to disturb us. Okay. Material world, it is called Durga. Durga means the prison house. So we're in the material world in the prison house. And nobody can be happy in prison. Even if you say that I'm a first-class prisoner, I have my own private room, I have my TV, I have some extra candy, maybe some things that have been given to me in prison for my enjoyment, and I have some privileges in prison, still I'm in prison. So there's no question of happiness. The only happiness is to become free from the prison. So in the material world, it doesn't matter what position a person may be in, ultimately they're not free. They're bound and shackled by the chains of the laws of material nature. And it is the job, the mission of the Krishna Consciousness movement to help people understand the process of reformation. How to become reformed in prison life. How to become rehabilitated from the activities which keep us in prison life. And how to reconstruct our minds in such a way so that we don't repeat the pattern of continually going back to prison. This going back to prison is the process ultimately of taking one birth after another birth after another birth after another birth in the material world. So it doesn't matter what particular womb you might be born in, whether Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra. It's the process of the birth and death which is the experience which keeps us bound up in the suffering condition. And perfection of life means to become free from this process of birth and death. And this is the mission of the Krishna Conscious movement. We're training young men and women, old men and women, all people, how to understand this perfection, how to become free from the cycle of birth and death. So this is the real Brahmin. Not being born in a particular flesh of a particular two-legged animal. Just like automatically, if you're born in Bombay, you're considered to be an Indian. If you're born in New York, you're considered to be an American. But if you're born in a Brahmin family, you're not considered to be a Brahmin. You're only considered to be an Indian because that's where the body was born. But you can only be considered to be a Brahmin if you have the qualities of a Brahmin. So the qualities of a Brahmin means peaceful, tolerant, austere, studies the scripture, simple, like that. And because these are the qualities that keep a person in the sattva gun. So ultimately the Brahmin means somebody who's very, very peaceful and contented. Shanti, shanti. This shanti is the position of happiness. So, to become a Brahmin is the business of those who are participating in Krishna consciousness. And by thus becoming Brahmins, we can help the whole society move towards perfection. We cannot expect that everybody in Kali Yuga will even want to become perfect. But by executing the duty of Brahmin, we can push the society towards this goal. And we do this by the mass propagation of the Hari Nam Yagya. So we have to become very, very good as as the proper priest of the yajna of the holy name. So that when we say the holy name, we're actually lighting the fire of the divine light in the heart of those who hear it. So, this is our training. This is what we're here for. And as a result of that training, anybody that comes in the association of the devotees, they immediately, they feel an inclination to also have that fire of the holy name lit within their heart. And the main inspiration is that they see that you are quite happy. If they see, if a person comes to the mandir and they see that you're not happy, that everyone is kind of morose or complaining or sad, then nobody will be inspired to do anything except for to come to the deity and ask for material desires. And as a result of asking for material desires, no one will move towards perfection. But when the people come and they see that the devotees are very, very happy, then they also want to know, how do I become happy like you? What do I need to do to become happy? Then you instruct them in the chanting. Not just chanting, but how to chant. How to chant with devotion unto the Lord. How to chant as a yajna, a sacrifice to the Lord, so the Lord actually becomes present. So that first sacrifice in chanting is to hear very, very carefully the holy name. To chant the holy name with great reverence, just like we worship the deity here as Lakshmi Narayan. That means we're worshiping not Radha Krishna. We're worshiping the Lord as Lakshmi Narayan, because first of all, we have to have discipline in our mind. We have to gain respect for the Lord. Just like right now in this room, if President Modi was to walk into this room, everyone would stand up very respectfully, very attentively. You would not turn your back to him. You would not go off in a corner and gossip with your friends and laugh and giggle, but you would be very respectful. So similarly, when we come into the presence of Radha Krishna, we're in the presence of Lakshmi Narayan, the king of the whole universe, Jagannath himself. So we come very, very respectful. We attentively look at the Lord with great honor and veneration. And then we bow down and worship him in the same way. So similarly, the holy name of the Lord being none different than the Lord, we sing the holy name with the same veneration of respect and devotion. And in this way, we can teach people when they chant that the chanting is not just simply a trick. That we're not just trying to get you to trick people with some con game that this is going to just make relieve your stress or make you successful in life. These ideas are okay, but this is not the actual teaching of Krishna Consciousness and the holy name. The teaching of the holy name is actually about developing love for God, learning to love God. But before we can love God, we have to learn to respect the Lord and to honor the Lord. Okay? You cannot love that which you don't respect and honor. Okay? So first we learn to chant the holy name respectfully and in an honorable way. And then by that, just like walking through the dark cave, we have to walk very, very carefully, very respectfully, so that we don't trip, fall, hurt ourselves, or fall off into a canyon or something. We have to walk very, very carefully. So we chant in here very, very carefully, and then the light of the holy name will lead us to the end, into the full light of God's kingdom itself, where we'll actually be able to see the Lord, not only as Lakshmi Narayan, but as Radha Krishna. So this is the direction of the Krishna conscious movement, to make Brahmins. The Brahmin is the head is the guide, the head has the eyes and the ears by which we move and understand where to go and how to move in life. So all of us here, this is our goal, to become true Brahmins, to help society to move forward so that not only do we become perfect, but the whole human race also becomes perfect. Thank you very much for listening. Anyone have any questions or comments? Maharaj, any comment? Vice President Maharaj? Brahmacharis? Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo.